Welcome to season 2 of No Shelf Control, the podcast with books, booze, and banter, hosted by authors for readers. Because let's face it, we're all bookworms at heart.
This season, we're chatting about book-to-screen adaptations and trending BookTok books. I'm Lindsey Sparks.
And I'm Lindsey Pogue. Grab a beverage, kick back, and enjoy the show.
Yay.
I can't always get my mouth to work, even though my brain wants to work a little faster. So what can I say?
Well, welcome to season 2, episode 22 of No Shelf Control, everybody. For this book adaptation episode, we read, which we talked about before, was not actually our first reverse harem, but it's like our first like legit paranormal reverse harem.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's my first legit, like, 4
explicit.
guys, 1 girl, explicit. Yeah.
Paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though in this book it wasn't like she wasn't hooking up with all the guys at once.
Yeah.
In this book. And I guess, I mean, like, every reverse harem doesn't necessarily have to have like group sex, right? It's just like that there's one woman with lots of partners.
I would guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like my first real legit,
like, explicit. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And that book is Obsession by Meg Anne and K, Loraine, which we will talk obviously lots more about in the second half of the show. Yeah. But first,
do you want to check in about the last episode?
So, if you if you are listening or watching, and you notice the jump in the numbers from episode 20 to episode 22, or the fact that in episode 20 we mentioned that we were going to read and watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the first Harry Potter book, we did all of that. We recorded our episode. We put our episode on the internet, and within like an hour we were called transphobic, and it really hurt my heart. And so we took it down because we didn't want either to have people perceive us as supporting anything. I mean, it just, I don't know. It was just a bad situation. And
well, we wanted to talk about an international phenomenon that like swept the entire globe.
And what I feel is a really excellent example of an adaptation.
And can we also just add, like, the whole highlight to all this is that I never was going to ever read or watch these movies or watch the movies or read the books. And I did for the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really fun to talk about. But I will say that when we did take down the episode, but on my Facebook page, my author Facebook page, and then also in my Discord, I did post like a
recap.
Yeah, kind of like a recap, and I just did a really quick, like, my thoughts, and a lot of people are chiming in and telling me to keep reading and all this stuff. So anyways, if you guys are interested at all, you can go to either my author Facebook page, or you can go to my Discord, and you can chime in and give me your thoughts, and you can hear my thoughts. So anyway, there you have it.
Yeah. So anyway, what are you drinking?
Actually, I just have water, but I told Dennis, okay, so I just have water because we also announced last time.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you should announce. Yeah.
So I'm having another baby. Did announce that last time. I'm having another baby, so I will be drinking probably just water for the next 5.5 months.
So I have been also drinking water and tea. But I was telling Dennis, my husband, that I was like, oh man, we can't change the name of the podcast, so I better step up my game. Like, I got to do something. So
I'll be back. I will be back.
Yeah. So anyways, I will bring something to the next recording. I will rally, and we will have some wine. Maybe I'll have some red wine in
honor of you. Yeah. Pour a drink out for me.
Yeah. So anyways, so you did miss that as well because we took that episode down. Surprise.
Yay.
Anyway, sorry. So yeah, I'm drinking water, and you are drinking also water?
Also water, just water.
Yeah.
I feel like I was smart. I know we were, especially when we were doing, when we were still recording Read by the Author, when we were reading World After, we were like constantly, both of us were like, I just ate dinner and I'm really full. I purposely, I was like, I want to get seconds, but I know I'm recording after this. I'm not going to eat anymore.
That is so funny. I did the same thing. I did the same exact thing. I made my favorite potato soup, and I was like, only one bowl, Lindsey, only one bowl, because you have to go in half an hour and you don't want to be
burping all up in your microphone.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, that's
so funny.
We learned our lesson.
We did. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been working on?
I've been working on
besides making potato soup.
So a lot of like businessy side stuff I was telling Lindsey about earlier that I won't go into, but you know, if anything
really
ever happened to me,
stuff.
yeah, like if anything ever happened to me, my husband would not know anything about my business, how it works, where to find any information, nothing. So I've been working on getting like this whole manual thing together, and it does feel like a manual. All the contracts that you need to know about, like all the logins. I mean, he has no clue about anything. So anyway, so I've been working on that, but one of the really fun things that I actually got to do this week was so Land of Fury came out last Tuesday, right? Yeah, I think last Tuesday.
And that's the last book in that trilogy.
This is so this is the last book in the Ruinlands series for now, and it is my like Viking-esque take on Snow White and the Huntsman. It's really fun. And so that came out last Tuesday. And so I got Dennis and I spent like almost all day on Monday getting all of my packages ready for Patreon people. And Dennis has never helped me before, but I was like, can you help me, please? Because it's so much to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because I have like all my little goodies that I put in there, and then I wrap everything and all the stuff. And so Dennis was like, sure, I'll help you. So he was so excited about it. But anyway, so we sat down, and I just want everybody to know who's a Patreon who got wrapped paperbacks. Dennis did all the wrapping, and he is a perfectionist. He probably used a lot of tape. I am so messy when I do it. I'm just like, I just don't have the patience. Yeah. But he's just like, everything is perfectly cut to size. Like he's just so in it to win it. And he goes at his pace. You know, he, like I said, he is a mechanic. He's a perfectionist. Like he has all his tools in a row. Anyway, yeah. So it was really fun though to work on that with him. And he would, whenever I would forget to do something, which is also great to have somebody checking you to make sure that you're doing what you want to do for each person, you know, he'd be like, rejected. He would push it back.
He was your quality control.
I was like, what'd I do wrong on this one? He goes, well, you didn't sign that page. I'm like, damn it. So, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or whatever. So it was actually really fun. So it's kind of a fun thing I got to do. But I always am. Well, you know, I'm always doing it by myself. And so I just all day I'm just sitting there like, and it's, I mean, you can listen to a book or music or whatever, but it's different when you have somebody there who's laughing with you and
rejecting your
rejecting. You know, I told Dennis, so I guess it kind of goes with all the Patreon people and the readers and everybody being so awesome, is so during the release, some of the readers were talking about how, oh my God, like the book's so good, you're so cool, you're awesome, all this stuff. And I was like, you know, next time my husband's glaring at me, I would be like, you know, I'm really cool and I'm really awesome, and
people think I'm cool and
awesome with me right now. And so it was funny because the like I was joking with him and I told him about it, and then the next day he brought me a bouquet of flowers, and he was like, I was like, oh, what is this for? And he goes, well, now I have to contend with all your readers, otherwise you're gonna like leave me. So it was super cute. So anyways, it's been kind of fun for this release to just like spend more time with him and him be more a part of it, you know. So anyway, otherwise I'm not really doing a lot. I'm still doing a lot of research for Skies of Fire and getting stuff together to release for Patreon people, because they're gonna get to see the whole behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, Nothing super crazy. Just
Yeah.
kind of having an up and down week as far as like routines are all over the place.
Yeah.
So, how about you?
I wrote my Patreon stories for the middle of the month. So that feels good to have that done. And I outlined the 6th book in the Atlantis Legacy, which is the last book. I mean, it's so hard to say like it's the last book because then it connects to another series that's going to continue a lot of the characters' storylines and like,
But like not, it's like more of a spinoff though, right?
yeah, it's more of a spinoff, but it's like, I'm excited for this one to be done because it's like everything is coming together now. So it's like this one will be done. I have a serial that I have one more episode to write in Patreon that then once it's done, I'm going to take it out of Patreon and it's going to be like the connecting bridge that carries people from Atlantis Legacy to All World Online and makes it really obvious that these two series are related. And so that's going to be really fun to like finally, because there's so many people who are like, I didn't know that was related. I've had people who like my like hardcore reader fans who have read both and they're like, I didn't realize All World Online was, like in the same world as Atlantis Legacy. And it's like there's like very loose little hints in the first book. Well, the only All World Online book that's out there, but like I feel like if you look for them, you'll see them. But this makes it really obvious that they're connected. So I'm excited to like finally be able to like officially put those things together and be like,
Nice.
see, it works. So yeah. But other than that, I've been messing with some AI art stuff. Messing with Midjourney. Creating some new covers for my serials. I still I'm too like skittish about like the copyright situation with AI created images to consider using one for like an actual book cover on a retailer. But I'm really excited with some of the stuff I've come up with for the serial covers, which is, I know I already showed LP, but I have like a really pretty,
yeah, it's really fun
cover that I did for
really
the last Vampire Queen, which I'm really excited about. It's very like on trend for like fantasy romance cover styles. So it's pretty cool. And then I was working on today, after I finished my stories for Patreon, I was working on a new cover for the Nick Chronicles, which is the male lead POV, like alternate POV for the Cat de Bois Chronicles, which is my urban fantasy series.
Excuse me, question.
Yeah.
So are you taking every chapter that she had and just turning it on its head and it's him?
Kind of, if he's like present.
Right. And then if not, you're filling in the gaps.
Yeah. And then like when she's off on her own, I have other stuff like there's things that he does that are not chapters in like Inkwitch. That's like entirely new. Things that I didn't even know, really. So that's been really fun to like uncover those things. I love my alternate POV stuff that I do for Patreon because it gives me so many ideas for like future series and things. I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize this would be so cool. And it like makes the stories that are already written so much richer because it like adds that just like detail. I don't know, it's fun.
It's funny you said that because one of my Patreon peeps was telling me, because I've been talking about how there's a lot of things that I want to write. I want to write more in the Savage North world. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but I also don't really know what I want to focus on, especially because some of that I wrote so long ago. Like it's a big commitment to like go back and reread a series and like get re-inspired and all this stuff. And so I was thinking about doing a poll in Patreon, but then I was like, but I want to make sure that whatever people pick is something I really want, like I'm passionate about writing about. So it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. But it was interesting because she put it in a perspective that for me helps me kind of reorganize things in my brain. And it's like, I don't have to write. Like, even if I have these things that I want to do, doesn't mean I have to write like whole series about them.
Yeah,
like,
no.
She flat out, she was like, you know what you should do? She was like, what would be really cool is if you did like what we had, like a world before for the Savage North Chronicles, you know, like what we have for the ending series. So it's like you, or the world after or whatever, but you get like these,
the little
shorter,
snippets.
but you get snippets. And she's like, that would be awesome. And for me, I think that would be more fun to write because I'm not having to commit to like this big project, and I can write all these other little stories. And I'd say little as in they're not tiny, but they're not going to be 120,000 words each. No.
Well, just be cautious because the Nick Chronicles started out as an alternate point of view prequel to Inkwitch, and now it has become, I'm doing the entire series.
Well, and if that's what it turns into, that's fine, but that would be cool because then I would be like in it and I'd be like, oh, I really want to do this. And right now I have so many things that I want to do that I feel like I'm like stalling because I don't know where to start. But if I take it in little increments like that, and I'm like, okay, well, if I do, you know, I'll pick 5 or 6 specific little things that I write about, you know, and then I don't know, it's just kind of reorganizing it in my brain, I guess, makes it's just helpful. So anyways, it's interesting to think about. So I have been thinking about, you know, something similar.
Like I think it's fun. I think you would really like it. It's really, sometimes like, because I do a poll every month, my patrons get to pick, they get to throw up ideas, and then I put their ideas in a poll, and then they all get to vote on what one story that I'm going to write. Which can be anywhere from like 1,000 to like 4,000, or it might turn into a serial words. So like a chapter to like a few chapters, or
but do you open it up to like all the different projects? Or
I open it up to any ideas that they have, and any ideas that they put in the comments on a post, then I put in the poll that month, and whatever they vote on is what I write. And it's been funny. It's like sometimes,
even if you don't really want to write it.
And it'll be, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't even know what I'm going to write for this. And then once I get started, I learn so much. I'm like, I didn't even think about this. Like, I had no idea. And
that's kind of fascinating.
It's really cool. Yeah. It's always a male point of view that they pick. Like an alternate male point of view.
And that might be different for me too, because I already do that. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see though. Well, our brains work a little differently too, though. So I don't know. That could be, I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it because I think that because she brought up the poll and I was like, you know, I've thought about the poll and I really like the idea of letting people weigh in, but I also am like, I want to be able to write about what I want to write about too, you know?
I mean, you could always dip your toe into the world of polls and control the options that are there.
I'd be like, you get 1,000 words. And then if I can write at 5, then great. But I'm not going to like promise. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, we're getting off topic, but okay. Sorry. Sorry guys for a little brainstorming session here.
Yes. I think that's all that I'm supposed to be starting writing the book that I outlined, Rise of the Revenants, Atlantis Legacy Book 6, and totally dragging my heels on it because it's just so nice, like, and refreshing writing the serials and then like knowing that I have to dive into like a big full manuscript that I need to finish before I have a baby.
Yeah, that deadline too. That deadline waiting for you.
So I'm just like, okay, just do it. And I was going to start it tomorrow, but then I got an email from my editor today that she said she was going to have my Darkness Between the Stars, which comes out at the end of April, back to me like a week early tomorrow. And I was like, well, do I just like not start and go through my editing revisions and just get that done? So I'm not like starting, stopping. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Just keep procrastinating and just do edit. That's what I would do. That's what I mean, honestly, like I can't have things like hanging in my, like out there like that. I'm like, oh, just do it. It'll be faster.
Well, and then I was like, okay, so maybe I'll just like start writing The Last Vampire Queen. That's going to come out at the beginning of April. Get that episode done. So then I don't have to stop again, you know, and then I can really have like, you know, nice 3.5 solid weeks to really get this manuscript started.
In case anybody ever wondered what goes on in author brains, this is all we think about.
How do I fit this in? Okay, so let's move on from our impromptu meeting.
Yeah. I saw, yeah, we actually, this is kind of what we talk about. Sorry guys. When we meet
I know. So it goes on for
Whoops.
like 2 hours.
Hey, at least we didn't get any, at least we didn't get into marketing stuff.
Oh man. Okay. What are you reading right now?
So I have a lot actually going on. I'll make it quick because I know we're already getting behind. So I actually have a hardcover I'm reading right now, which is Spells for Forgetting, which is
Okay,
Adrienne.
so I saw that you post that somewhere, and I have that book on my nightstand.
How honestly,
random is that? I haven't started it.
Adrienne Young's one of my favorite authors, so I'm super excited. I've only read, I think, like 6 chapters just because I have so many other things I'm reading too. And that's like my weekend read. But I'm really enjoying it. I think you would like it because it's very like kind of magic realism.
Okay.
Kind of.
I've gotten into a bad habit of looking at my phone before bed, so I just need to open that book and I need to get out of my
try it out
phone habit.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that one. I'm reading Claire Taylor's book about enneagrams and for the like author like mindset and stuff, trying to figure out how to make better decisions that more align with who I am as a person versus what I am like inundated with, and then which I'm actually finding really helpful. And then I for my audiobook, we're going to talk about this later, but I'm actually just finished book 2 in this series.
I'm reading it right now.
I just finished that audiobook, so we can talk about that later.
That's hilarious.
What about you?
I am listening to book 2.
Yeah.
I don't know, on like chapter 6 or something. But yeah, I just got in like a podcast thing this week. So I didn't want to get too far ahead because last time I did that, I felt like I was like, I don't know what happened in which book.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So. Hopefully I don't have that problem tonight because I finished book 2 yesterday.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. But other than that, I think that's all I'm reading. Sorry. I will start Spells for Forgetting. Yeah. It's on my nightstand. I feel inspired. I need to break my phone habit. I end up staying up later than I want to. Like looking at my phone with one eye to like focus. So yeah. I don't know why I do that. Yeah. It's not anything interesting. So yeah, that's it for me. Okay. Should we dive into
let's dive in
the book? All right. Spoiler. Warning.
Yeah.
Wee.
And probably explicit content. So
and also, yeah, I'll just put the E on this episode. All right, here's the description for Obsession. I rejected my fated mate and didn't regret it for a second, until now. Shipped off to Ravenscroft University, a graduate school for the supernatural elite, I have a lot to live up to. As the heir to America's most powerful pack, my life up to now has been spent in a gilded cage, but not for the reason you might think. I was locked away, not to be protected, but because I was born broken, a disappointment to them all, a wolf who couldn't shift. This is supposed to be my fresh start, but my past won't leave me alone, not when he's here, the arrogant wolf shifter who ruined my life after I turned him down seven years ago. Now I'm a pariah, followed by the rumors my rejected mate has spread, hated by my classmates, isolated again. From everyone but them. Mm-hmm. A vampire prince, a forbidden priest, a powerful demigod, a bully wolf. I'm playing a dangerous game, and the rules say I can't be with them. Then again, the rules are made to be broken. And when every moment spent with them brings me closer to finding my wolf, how can I stay away? Warning! This book is not for the faint of heart. It contains an obsessive stalker, a foul-mouthed, inked, and pierced werewolf, a naughty professor with a fondness for watching, and a god of mischief, and plenty of heat. If you don't like your books spicy, your men broody, built, and more bad than good, then this is not the series for you. But if you do, press play, and welcome to the mate games.
Yeah.
I think that description is interesting because it's all about Kingston. And I don't feel like book 1 is all about Kingston.
Mm-mm.
Not funny.
But it has a good hook though. That's
it
why.
does. Yeah.
Okay, where do you want to start? Let's pack it.
Okay, so let's start with format. What format did you read? I think I already know.
Well, since we found this because I was stalking a narrator, I listened to it.
I also listened to it. And I will say that the audiobook is it's in duet, which is really cool. So then like the male or female lines are inserted by the narrator.
It's all
female
interconnected.
Yeah.
And they don't break them
and
into
then
chapters.
There's a different narrator for each of the men, of which there are 4.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I totally feel like, and I'm curious to hear what you say, the narrator for Alec was like trying to sound like
Chris Hemsworth.
Yes.
Yes.
It was like spot on.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, wow, you're really bringing your Thor vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what he sounds like in other books, if that's what he sounds like, or if he was just really good at doing like the impersonation.
I don't think that's what he sounds like. I feel like I've heard him in other romances. I don't think that's what he sounds like. But but yeah, they all definitely brought it. Even the guy who does Caleb, who I think is amazing.
Oh.
He doesn't, that's not his accent. I think he's American.
Really?
So, I think. I might be wrong, but I think.
Because he's Irish.
I could be wrong. He does a lot of American accents. We'll just put it that way.
Interesting.
And okay. What I've heard him in.
So, and then the female narrator was also awesome enough that I want to reach out to her to see if she's interested in my reverse harem when it comes out of Patreon. Yeah. So I really liked her. And I don't have her name in front of me. Hold on.
Stella Hunter.
Okay, so what did you think of the story overall?
I thought it was really intriguing. There's a couple, I know there's some things you're going to ask later, so I won't go into them, but I think that I thought it was really interesting to pit all the paranormal, like they have someone from every essentially like little paranormal silo, you know? And I kind of like that about it. I think it's a really smart way to get away with the reverse harem because you have her as a wolf who has to mate to a wolf, but then you talk about like Caleb talks about a curse and so, and that them being fated in some way. And then I don't really understand the whole Alec thing, but he's a god, so like whatever. And then same with Thorn. I don't really know his deal, but he's a vampire, so like
Prince, a vampire heir or something.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, and the way they make it so that all the guys, like we were talking about, it's not like she's just with all the guys all the time. It's not like that. So the authors did a really good job of like finding reasons to get the other guys out of the picture so that she's stuck with somebody and in a situation where it makes sense for her to be with that person.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty well done. Like when she finds her wolf and she goes into heat and then like she's like, no one ever taught her because she was like in a cage her whole life, let's just say. And she didn't know anything about this. So she had no idea what's going on with her. And then her mate's not there. And then like hell breaks loose for her. And then he finally finds out and she's been pushing him away, but she knows that she needs him. And I don't know. It's just like it kind of the way they tied it all together for me as somebody who's like, wow, there's a, like, especially as you continue reading this series, you're like, there's a almost too much sex for me just because I'm like zero storyline at this point, it feels like, but But in the first book, I think they do a really good job of, kind of weaving all of the different storylines and the characters together and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've only really haven't read any, so maybe I didn't really know what to expect. I don't know.
I've read a few paranormal reverse harems, and I would definitely put this up there with like my favorites. Like maybe my favorite that I've read. So I felt like there's one thing about the book that I did not love. But it was like kind of a minor element. But like in terms of all the like mythology and reverse harem aspects and like the relationships and stuff like that, I thought that all worked really well. And I liked that all the guys were like very different. I thought that was good. They had very different personalities.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah. And so that I felt like that worked really well. Yeah. So does this make you want, well, never mind. I'll save that for the end. What did you think of like the academy aspect?
It felt really unrealistic to me, to be honest.
That was the part that I didn't love.
Yeah, that's
kind of like,
for me too. I kept thinking like
they're like 23, like.
Well, and then they make it a point in the second one. They remind you that it's like a graduate school, but still, it's like
it felt very
I feel
like
high
they
school.
Like
I feel like they could have. I feel like there was something
like a ball
they could have done to elevate it just a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah, and that for me was just like
it's like a dance.
It's a dance. Yeah. No. I agree. That the whole time too. I was thinking that I was like, they're at a school. This is silly, and they're paranormal. So it's like they're all having sex all the time and like, or close to it. Okay, they're not really all having sex all the time, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, they're not like, they could have put it in a different setting. I think it would have still worked fine. You know?
Yeah, it didn't
be like a school.
Yeah. That's the part where I was like, are you just trying to appeal to the academy people who like,
I don't know. Yeah.
Are all about, I don't know. I was like, I don't need this part.
Yeah.
But at least it's not very big. It's not a very big part. Like it's not talked about a ton other than like there's like a headmaster or headmistress and you know.
Okay, that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. And I'm not giving anything away because nothing has been brought up about this in the second book or anything, but do you get like villainous vibes from the headmistress at all?
I don't know. I'm really curious about her.
I am too. I'm like
she's the most powerful being in the entire world on this plane of existence or something.
Well, and then she keeps like having secret conversations with Sunday and I'm like, is it because she doesn't want people to know that she's giving her this like this tonic thing for her suppressant or what? I don't know. Like I'm getting I don't know the answer, but I'm just telling you something's ringing in my watch. Is going to be absolutely nothing, but
well, I'm curious to find out.
Yeah, me too.
There's definitely, they did a good job at hinting at like bigger things to come. Like there's a bigger.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm pretty enthralled is because I do want to know how they're all tied together.
Yeah. So it's not just like having sex for sex's sake with lots of men for Sunday. Like there's like a mythology and a bigger
the seven rings of the apocalypse,
the seals,
or something.
The seven seals of hell or something like that. Yeah. So there's something bad is going to happen.
And they don't know what's going to cause them, but the more that she's with the guys, the more the ring or the seals rings must be
very supernatural. Supernatural with the seals.
But yeah, so there's that. And then I was going to ask you something else. It'll come to me. I'll probably pipe up in the middle of something else you're saying later. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, did you have a favorite suitor among the men?
Yes. So
we have, let's just like define them really quickly. So we have Noah Blackthorn, who goes by Thorn. He's the vampire prince or vampire heir. I don't know if he's actually a prince or if he's just the heir to the like Blackthorn family.
British vampirism.
And that's LP's
the narrator
crush. And then there's Caleb, who is an Irish vampire priest.
Vampire priest, yeah.
And he has like a very masochistic.
And can we say virgin vampire
virgin priest? Yeah. And who's super hot and strangely experienced.
Yeah.
With certain things.
I guess he has lived for a long time. I don't know. And then there's Alec, who's the very
demigod. He's like a Norse Viking god.
Yeah, and we kind of find out, I think it's toward the end of the first book, that he's more like, he's like a Loki. He's like a god of mischief.
He's a mischief. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny that he sounds
like Thor.
Exactly like Thor.
And
I was like, why didn't they go for like a Tom Hiddleston? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he's like breaks his cup or throws his cup on the floor or something. And then and then there's Kingston, and he is like he's her moody werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is my least favorite, I think.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I honestly, her attitude with him in the first book, like, he was one of my favorite, because I wanted, like, I felt like she's really bitch to him, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I was kind of like, dude, like, yeah, sling it back at her. Like, I don't know what it was, but there was just something about him that I kind of felt bad for him, because I think it's because they did a really good job of like, he clearly was hurt that she rejected him, even though he never understood why. And so I kind of like get it, but but
then he acted, I mean, I think the thing I don't like about him is like then his reaction to her rejecting him, even if he doesn't know why, when they're 16 years old, is then to like talk a ton of shit about her behind her back for 7 years.
Which is funny, because she says that, and then like in the beginning, and that's why she hates him, and then she references that like he was always like mean to her or hated her, but like they were never really talk about that again, actually, which is really interesting. So but no, I totally agree. And the more, I didn't really like him until I started reading more and seeing their interaction, and then she just started pissing me off.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, dude, he literally is your mate, so you need to like figure this out or whatever, I don't know, she was just being silly. But I honestly think like my least favorite, I think, is Alec at this point, because
Alec is a close second, because he's just, I don't know, I've never been like a big Thor person. I've always been much more of a Loki person. And it's like,
so far he doesn't have a huge connection to her. He doesn't have a huge
other than he feels feelings.
Yeah. Other than he says that they're fated, but we don't really get a sense of that.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite is Caleb, actually, strangely.
I'm the same.
I love him. He intrigues the hell out of me.
So complicated, and like
100%.
His like, oh my God, he's like so conflicted over like,
well, he's a virgin and a priest, and he's lusting over this chick who he is actually sworn not to be with because of the curse.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's going on with the 7 seals, and he can't stay away, and it's fascinating.
Oh my gosh. And like there's like this sex club that they go to. What is it called?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah,
and it has like these magical rooms that like adapt to whatever your needs are or something. Anyway, so Noah, who is her vampire guy, who's like, he's like the main love interest for book 1. So they go there a lot, and there's like a viewing room.
Yeah.
Because she's like, apparently her secret desire is exhibitionism. But there's a viewing room, and Caleb is in there all the time, and she can like see the outline of him, and he's just like,
but let's be clear,
taking care of business while they're taking care of business.
Yeah, he only comes when she's there, because that's all he can like. So
he has the succubus let him know when they're there. Yeah. So then he can come and watch them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fast. It's really actually really fast.
And then he goes and beats himself up, like physically, like he like flogs himself.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really fascinating. And he's also her teacher. So it's all very interesting. And like you said, it's very dark and twisted, and I really like it.
He punishes her with a sexy spanking.
Oh yeah. That's right. It's so funny. So I will say, like, I know we're going to talk later about like, are we going to keep reading this series? And I need to understand what's happening. So I definitely am going to finish. I finished, like I said, I finished the second book. I think I am going to take a break though, just because now it's like in the second book, like sex is fun and it's kinky and I enjoy listening to it or whatever, especially like when you're at home alone, you're like, oh my God, like if my husband walked in right now, he knew what I was listening to. This is so awkward. But there's also a point where it's just like, okay, now there's something else. Oh, more. Oh, okay. Oh, we haven't even had 2
like,
seconds.
Sex. So
I think I'm going to take a break. So that I can enjoy it more instead of, I feel like I'm getting desensitized, I guess is what I'm saying. So I think I'm going to take a little break, but I want to keep reading or listening because I want to understand what's going on here.
So it's funny what you said about like being at home and be like, if my husband walked in and heard what I was listening to, one of my favorite things, I love this, is like going and running errands and listening to a really spicy audiobook. I mean, like nobody knows what I'm listening to. It's like, feels like the best secret.
Yeah. Well, I think it was when we were doing the Patreon wrapping the other day, I was listening to my Bluetooth
of this.
But I was listening to the music. Dennis and I were listening to my Pandora station or whatever while we were wrapping, and I had it on, and then I don't know if he went and got in the shower, what he was doing, but then I was like listening to my audiobook and I was like, I took my earbuds out and I'm like, that's not playing on my speaker. I was like, oh my God. People
and like it is like explicit.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the words are used.
In the first book, she sleeps with Kingston, right?
No, it's at the beginning of the second book.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind.
It's okay.
Anyway, that I really was glad that finally happened. I think because I was getting so angry. I was like, just do it all. Anyway, we don't have to talk about that. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely.
I thought her description. Okay, I know this is the second book, which is technically we're talking about the first book, but in the second book, her description after she has like her like sexcapade night with Kingston when she's a werewolf. She like describing how her body feels. She's like, Jesus Christ, what did I do? My hips? Like, oh, this is so funny. I was glad that she had after effects from it instead of just having like a magical lady bits that like aren't like bruised.
Yeah.
Like battered.
Can I just say like how awkward is like, think about it. So you have the priest professor who you know is attracted to you, but won't touch you, but will watch you, but he won't touch you.
But he will touch her. He did touch her.
Well,
in book 1.
Okay, but
at
like,
the ball,
we know what he really wants to do, and he's not doing it. He's fighting against it. But like, we know how she knows how he feels about her, and then like, he's taking care of her in Kingston while they're like doing the rutting thing because of the whole heat thing. And so I'm just sitting there going, how fucking crazy is that? Like, I was just putting myself in that position. I'm like, oh, this really hot priest who I want to screw is bringing me food because he knows we're exhausted from having sex for 17 hours. Like, okay, thank you. Oh, I'm just like, oh my God. Like it's like tantalizing, but it's also like, oh my God, this is also
like a lot of sex.
Yeah. But yeah, Caleb, I think he's definitely my favorite. He's the most complex. He's the most interesting to me. I really want to know what else he knows about this whole curse thing that we haven't learned yet, because he clearly knows a lot more. And the narration is phenomenal for him. Like, I just want to lick him. I want to lick him.
Caleb's voice.
Yeah, his name is Jason Clark, and he's amazing.
Do you want to lick his voice?
I mean, sure.
Sorry, Jason Clark.
He's like, this is really awkward. I should stop listening to this. I actually messaged him. I haven't heard back. I think I might have scared him. You know how I like to stalk narrators?
Oh my God.
I'll let you know if he ever gets back to me.
Yeah. Okay. So did you have anyone in mind that you would like cast for these roles?
So yes and no. It took me a second to really think about it because I had to like I forgot to show you. Okay.
I know you sent me a picture I saw.
Oh, that guy of Kingston.
Yeah.
No, not that though. They have a picture on their website of their character art. And I
Oh.
wanted you to see it. I don't know what it's on. Hold on, let me look up session character. Let me see.
Well, while you're looking that up, I will say I just couldn't get it out of my head of Chris Hemsworth for Alec. Like that's all I could see. Because he literally sounds exactly like him. It's really weird.
So I had a hard time too thinking of anyone else. The only other person I really came up with for him could maybe be like Channing Tatum, maybe.
Yeah,
or
I could see that too, but he's almost too silly. Or
yeah, I don't know. It was hard.
Yeah.
And
for
then,
Kingston, I saw, I don't know why, but I don't know the actor's name, but he played Tyler in the Vampire Diaries, who was a werewolf.
Yeah.
He's
For
kind of a dickish werewolf. That's who I kind of saw for him.
I saw, who did I see for Kingston? I wrote it down. Oh, you know what I thought would be interesting? He doesn't really fit the physical description, I don't think. Oh, maybe he does, because I'm looking at their fan art. If you go to themategames.com, it's the very first photo on the page. Which I can definitely see actors in these people now that I'm really looking at it. But one of the
that is not how I pictured Kingston at all.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, Thorn.
I know.
That's Ben Barnes.
I know. So it's funny because that's who I wrote down before I even realized that. That's who I wrote down too.
And Caleb is
Thor.
No, Caleb is
Caleb
is what's his face from Game of Thrones.
Yep. That's what I was saying. I totally saw actors for those.
How funny. No, that's 100% Ben Barnes. That is based on Ben Barnes.
Yeah, I know.
I should know.
So what I know, right? I was thinking for Kingston, he might be good is that guy who who plays the new Jack Reacher show. I don't know why I could picture him being.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, he doesn't have tattoos, but just throw some on there.
He is enormous.
Right? I don't know. Like, or maybe he could be like the Alec guy. I don't know. But I just feel like he's so manly. Like, I feel like he could be good. I had Ben Barnes for Blackthorn. I also, so for the priest,
I love Ben Barnes for
Blackthorn.
Yes, I love that.
Or Thorn, I should say.
Yeah.
For the priest, I had two ideas. I was thinking like a young Tom Hardy could be kind of cool.
I like that a lot.
Or Jamie Dornan, that guy who's 50
I like
Shades.
him. I really like him.
And then
he was in before he was in 50 Shades, which I never saw. He was in oh my God, my brain is just not working because I am growing a human. Once Upon a Time. Is that what that was called?
I don't know.
That show. That was based on Disney stories. But like in real life. Once Upon a Time, I think.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw him in something Mountain Time or whatever with Emily Blunt, and that was really cute with the two of them. He also was, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I was thinking either like a young Tom Hardy or him for the priest. And then honestly, I wanted to throw, I know that doesn't really go, but I wanted to throw an Angelina Jolie in there somewhere, like maybe the headmistress or
I like Angelina Jolie for the headmistress.
For like the succubus or whatever, succubi chick. I thought that could be kind of cool. And then I was having a hard time with Sunday, but I was thinking maybe like a Jennifer Lawrence or I do not like love this actress, but I don't know why I kept thinking of the Olsen sister who's in the Marvel movies.
I love her. Elizabeth Olsen. I don't love her for this, but I love her in general. Anyway.
So anyways, those are the people I came up with. Who else did you come up with besides, or did you even
Chris
come up with
Hemsworth?
someone? Yeah.
Not really. I tried so hard to think of someone for Sunday. Looking at this, I'm like wondering, is this supposed to be
Yeah, I can't tell with her.
like maybe the chick who was married to Channing Tatum, Jenna
Oh,
Dewan?
maybe. I'm also trying to figure out who Kingston is based off of.
I know. It
Can't figure
looks
that one out either.
familiar. Like, I don't know. Anyway, everybody who's listening or watching should
We'll put a
go
link.
to themakegames.com
We'll
and
put a link
look
so
at
you
this.
can see.
Like, I kid you not. That is definitely Ben Barnes, and that is definitely
Rob Stark.
Rob Stark.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name. That's funny.
Yeah, anyway, so there you go. Those are my ideas. And when I saw that, because I actually had forgotten, but I now because I looked at this like a week ago, but when I saw that, I was like, that's totally Ben Barnes.
There's like no mistaking it. Yeah. But it's funny, like, so Caleb, I totally pictured as like being turned into a vampire when he was a little bit older, like not like mid-20s, you know?
Me too.
Like maybe like 40s or something. Just maybe it's because the actor's voice has like that.
It's so
like,
deep and
aged
gravelly.
quality.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've like pictured.
I pictured like a little bit of salt and pepper involved or something. I don't know.
Do you like how Ben Barnes, or I mean, Thorns, how his shirt is like so tight, it's like
straining at the buttons. He is very broad-shouldered, but also very narrow.
Very narrow neck. Okay, now we're just being bratty. Okay, yeah. So if you guys want to check that out, we will link to it.
I love this. This is awesome.
I totally meant to send that to you before. I totally forgot.
Okay. So, let me get back to my actual questions. Okay, so obviously I know the answer to this. Will you continue the series?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to take a little break, but I am going to finish. And I'm actually curious. I'm interested to see how it all ends because
there's 4 books, right? One for each guy.
There's 4 books, but it looks like, from what I can tell, there's a bunch of different series within the same series. And so like this is the war story, and the next one is Pestilence. So
interesting. I did not realize that.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna do this.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because I was really confused when I was looking at the book's product page, and it was like the Make Games War, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm really confused about what the series is.
I think the next set is different character. I might be wrong, but I think the next set is also different characters. So the Pestilence is going to be different characters, and I'm assuming the same world, part of maybe the same apocalyptic whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. So like I said, I am curious to kind of see how they're going to do this, because there's a lot of prophecy and curse and like paranormal aspect to it that hasn't really been like explained yet. So
also her roommate is a great character.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring her up too.
Yeah. I can't remember what her name is, but she is an excellent character. Very much like
she's a witch.
She's a witch. She's like definitely, she's not interested in men, which is great because there's so much penis.
Yeah.
And so, but she's like the great, like snarky, like sassy.
Yeah, she takes care of her and she helps her out, and she's supportive, and especially because in the very beginning, well, from the description, she's Sunday is not treated well in general, and so she goes to this, when she finally goes to the school, which again we're like, okay, it's a school, but goes to the school, and like she finally feels at home because she finally has friends and people who care about her. So yeah, it's nice that she has a little bestie.
Yeah, and it was fun to see like the roommate. I wish I could remember her name. It's so much easier to remember names when I'm
reading an actual
eyes.
Yep.
Yeah,
because now you can't picture the names. Yep,
I know. But she like just makes a snap decision. She's like, I like you, like even though she had heard so many bad things from Kingston and rumors and stuff about Sunday, and she was just like, I like you.
Can I just say, I think I still, like, I'm only finally, after finishing the second book, I'm finally, like, able to process this more quickly. whenever she's like chapter 4 Sunday, I'm sitting there going, I have to tell myself it's not a day
Not
of the
the
week.
day.
It's not a timestamp. It is her name. Like, it is taking me so long to like ignore it, you know, and just like keep going. Oh my God.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so are you interested in, does this book make you interested in more reverse harem books?
I mean, I definitely would be, I would like something to compare it to, you know, just to.
Well, you're going to be forced to read The Last Vampire Queen, so.
True. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it by any means, but you know, I just don't read a lot of paranormal stuff in general,
I know.
you know, but I guess it doesn't always have to be that way. But I think I do like that element in this situation because it makes it seem a little bit more plausible, which is still silly and ridiculous. But for me, it's like, it's not, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I definitely would be open to reading more. Because we did talk about, you know, we read one of K. Webster's, but there was never, it wasn't quite so like, it kind of was. The three brothers, they didn't all, you know, they weren't all with her at the same time. And she, in all honesty, she didn't even know they were all triplets. So she had no idea. But as the series progresses, she does know and she uses it to her advantage and stuff, right? So, I mean, that was really interesting. But that's like, there's not a lot. That's not how all the reverse harems are not like that when you have the triplets, you know. But yeah, no, I would be interested definitely in checking them out. And, you know, obviously I want to read The Last Vampire Queen.
I'm excited.
I also have a question about that. So when you, because obviously you know what you've written, so how do you compare it to this on like the spice level?
I think The Last Vampire Queen is spicier.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she is, by the end of season 1, she has 3 official members of her harem. And she has to commune with them, have communions with them together to maintain her strength and power. She feeds off of them. That's where her power comes from. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. See, I think that's the fun thing about doing the reverse harem with the paranormal element, is because you can really have like this deep justification for something that feels like super taboo in like real life. I mean, I guess it's not to everybody, because there's people who are in poly relationships, but it's like, here's a reason like why she gets to have all this, has to have all this like great sex with, in mine it's 7 dudes, but it's just like, well, and it might not even all be dudes, I haven't decided yet. So but people, humans, or not, they're not human. Sorry, other individuals. It's just fun to have this like kind of like mythical or mystical or magical justification for something that feels very transgressive to most people. So, but I guess that's what makes it kind of exciting, is that it is deviant, you know.
Can I just say, like, for somebody, I read so much taboo and so much dark romance, like I can't believe that I have not been immersed in this world more. It's really kind of I'm like sitting here like, this is kind of mind-boggling. But I think for me, and I think this is kind of what I'm still trying to figure out in my brain as I'm like reading these different things. I think for me, one of the reasons why I think that I would be more apt to read it if it was like a paranormal versus just a contemporary, because to me there has to be a justification, and the only reason why I say that is not because I don't think that women should, you know, has nothing to do with that, but for a story wise, for me, there's no story unless there's like a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it.
For me, the part of me is like, if I want to watch porn, I'll go watch porn. I'm not going to like, I don't want to just listen to, like, I'm listening to a book because I want to hear a story.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, and I feel like,
I think that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where my boundaries are.
need like the paranormal element to make it believable. And I know that sounds totally backwards because paranormal is unbelievable.
Well, but I think that's what it's, because you can like, just because like you can, you know,
it's hard to imagine like in this case, 4 guys, or in the case of my world, 7 harem members, like being okay with the whole
Yeah,
big
that's true too.
sharing
That's true too.
situation. Like, I'm sure there's some people out there, again, the people who are in poly relationships, depending on how that works for each relationship is different, I know, but like, it's hard to imagine being able to like tiptoe around all of the feelings and the like.
And I think that's interesting that you say that too, because I also agree with that. And I think that's another big reason why
It's hard enough being in a relationship with one person. Like,
well, and I think that was one of the issues I had with this book that we just read too, is like, all of these men think that they're fated to be with her
Yeah.
and that she's their mate and she, they're her mate, whatever. And they all are like, well, as long as we can have you, it's fine. And I'm like, that it would never fly
Yeah.
in real life. Like, so
Kingston's thing is, at least in book 1, is I feel like the most realistic reaction. He's like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And Alec is instantly like, yeah, I'm in.
Broski.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm still trying to figure out like what my boundaries are as far as like, what am I like, I don't mind reading sexy stuff. I don't like, I love this theme. It's so fun. But like, at what point am I just like, might as well just go watch porn at this point. Like, do I want the porn or do I want the storyline? A little bit of storyline,
Yeah.
So, and I think
when you like throw in like the paranormal or supernatural world or like supernatural beings, you can kind of get around that whole like,
well, you're already suspending belief, right?
Yeah.
You're already like,
so it's like, well, they're not human, so they have like a totally different culture, and like this is normal for them. Then like maybe it's like in this they talk about how the Fae do it a lot, the whole harem thing, but not necessarily the vampires and the shifters and the demigods and stuff. But the Fae, apparently, it's all the rage with the Fae, the harems. And I think when you can like throw the like multiple partners aspect in to like the culture of this like other species, that makes it like automatically it's like, okay, like this is just like their thing that they do,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm fascinated. Like I do want to like read more and figure out where I stand on this and because I am enjoying it and I think it's fun. And like I said, though, I do need to take a break because just at some point I just need some like legit storyline going too. So I don't know.
I get it.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just, cruising through, see what I like. I can totally see why people devour this stuff though. Like,
yeah,
who wouldn't want to be lost in this world forever?
Yeah.
I would much rather do that than be on the phone for 3 weeks in a row with Amazon. So,
although I will say I have not been on TikTok in a very long time to like browse through my feed, but I will say back in the day when I was on TikTok, like 8 months ago, I remember seeing some really funny ones that were like spoofs of like little skits of like someone in a reverse harem, like being the woman in the reverse harem situation and being like, no, not today. Like having like the guys coming at you like, no,
that's hilarious.
I need a break.
That's so funny. I mean, in real life, I feel like that would be legit, right?
It's like, dude, back up.
Yeah, honey, I need
I'm gonna go take a bath alone.
I need some me time.
I know, nobody's touching me right now.
Oh, to have such problems.
Oh man. Okay, so do you have any final thoughts that you want to share?
I don't. I guess I would just say from an author's perspective, these women are genius. So I mean, they created this whole world and there's clearly many, many books to come and like super cool, really fun. And
very
I can
enjoyable.
see why it's so popular. And to get such an amazing cast of narrators. I'm like so jealous.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Anyways. Yep.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Don't forget to check out the show notes for this episode's links, especially the link to the illustration that has Ben Barnes as Thorn. And also for book recs that we might have. I can't remember. we'll be back in a couple weeks to chat about our next adaptation, which is complete pivot palate cleanser to The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. And we're going to watch I want to say it's Amazon, or is it Netflix?
It's Amazon.
Amazon movie. Movie, not series.
No, it's a series.
It's a series. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to watch that. And that'll be a nice light YA romance coming of age thing. So I'm excited about that. If you're enjoying the show, we would love it if you left us a rating and or a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you are listening, if they allow for that sort of thing. And until next time, happy reading.
Happy reading.